What about Jermaine Tanua-Brown? He's got the army here. Oh, they've just seen themselves on the big screen and they are delighted.
Right, boys, stay behind.
Chris Butler gets us underway. Round 5, under-20s action. And the size of this Melbourne Storm pack will be crucial in erasing the memory of Monday night, where they were mowed down after leading 34 points to 6 at half-time. The Cronulla Sharks with the biggest ever under-20s comeback over this Melbourne side that looks certain for victory. It is Donahue, gets it on to Kubawai. Big unit is tackled 5 metres over halfway. Back to Donahue. Looks to the left-hand side. Goes to Scott Drinkwater, a part of a very talented halves combination with Brodie Croft. A nice, stable, conservative but effective set for the Storm to begin with.
Yeah, it was a really good set from the Melbourne Storm. Plenty of aggression from their big men, taking a couple of carries. It was big Josh Kerr. Well, the Newcastle Knights, they've certainly got their hands full. We've got a little injury here to one of the Newcastle Knights outside backs, but they handled it well last week against the Warriors. They've got to back that up against this big Melbourne Storm pack.
Through the centre. It was knocked back from the Storm. First error there. That's what it'll go down as for the Newcastle Knights, and Melbourne will begin their assault right on halfway. Once again, Kubawai. Keep your eye on Big Ben and Josh Kerr amongst others. This is Ben Henderson, comparatively the dwarf of the Melbourne Storm pack. Big Benny again. Playing nicely, Melbourne in for their first try. It is a good one. Corey Parker. Inside the opening 2 minutes, they did it very easily. They did it through, I think it was Charlie Gallo on this left-hand side. Another one of the fearsome 4. Kubawai. Short ball. It was a beauty to this unit.
Great play, wasn't it, from the Melbourne Storm? That comes on the back of their aggressive running. Nakubawai passes it out the back to Drinkwater. Gets the big man, big back rower in Charlie Gallo on a one-on-one situation with the opposition half there. He runs straight over the top of him, draws the fullback nicely, and Parker scores out wide there. But it's all been on the intent of their running game, the aggression that they've had with the ball in hand. They've come to play here, their first time playing on Amy Park this season. And aren't they loving it?
Yes, they are the Melbourne Storm under-20s by name, but based on the beautiful Sunshine Coast up there in Queensland. Play the majority of their games, home games anyway, up there. Big kick here for the kid. Jesse Arthur's just 17 years of age. Kicking it just under 80% this year. We'll ride it with him from the sideline. Starts at left, and it stays left. So 4-0 after 3 minutes. No real surprise to see the Storm starting in such a positive fashion. They almost had to, given the circumstances of Monday night, because it would have been weighing very heavily on their mind, no doubt, over the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, no doubt there. Their confidence would have been down a little bit, although you heard from Eric Smith and saying that these young guys, they get their confidence up quite easily, and they've shown that in their start. But it's an 80-minute performance. That's what they need. It is a good start. They've got to continue that.
Big Josh Kerr. And Gallo starting this set for the Melbourne Storm, and in 2 tackles there, already shadowing the 40-metre line, and the ball free. High on talk, the Newcastle Knights.
In here, boys. Fellas,
it's the little areas like this that the coach, Eric Smith, he's in his first season of the NYC as a coach too. He's riding the highs and the lows, no doubt. But after points, you always want to complete those sets, keep the pressure on the opposition. And a couple of strong carries there, but just a sloppy play. The ball in Newcastle Knights, they get their first opportunity.
Wait for the ball to come out. Get your arms around him, mate. Wait. Go up square. Ball in. Wait. Out.
All the Knights' backs out on the left-hand side. They've done it beautifully. Out to the winger. Ken Toffel out. Dragged to the ground, 4 metres out, very close to the sideline. Here is Corey Dennis, wearing the 23 jersey today. Joe Morris in a dummy half, playing out to this near side. Tuilatalava, unmistakable and driven to the ground. Morris back into dummy half, goes to the lock forward. Ryan Glanville, son of Mark, who also wore the 13 jersey for the club with distinction for many years. Ready to go, and going wide with a drop ball. Henry Penn, who has been very good, exceptional as a matter of fact for the Newcastle Knights over the last couple of weeks. 4th running metres, averaging 148 a game.
He's had a fantastic start to the season, Henry Penn. This time, great pressure though from the Melbourne Storm's outside defence, rushing up there. Corey Parker, he scored the opening try, but he raced off his line there. He'll have his hands full against Penn there. Strong defensive centre and also strong with the ball in hand. Loves to get some second phase away, but a good defensive set there forces the error from the Melbourne Storm.
Well, the ball may have possibly come free there from the Melbourne Storm, but there were no protests from the Knights. It's once again the home side. Starts their journey upfield. Good shoulder defensively there. Might have been Brock Lamb. It certainly was the number 6 on big Jaden Hunt. He found him. Arthurs bumps out of one. It's finally brought down almost on the 40-metre line. This is the last play for the Storm. It goes to their halfback, Brodie Croft. It's a floater and beautifully taken at the back. Very calm was Nick Meaney, the fullback for the Knights. Playing it out to the right-hand side and straight through. Spinning it out the back to Henry Penn. Noah Gudgeon, very talented. Here is Toffel coming in from his wing to add some assistance. Through the hands of Glanville, it goes to Jermaine Tanoa-Brown. From Morris, out to Lamb. Beautiful running and passing game, Brock Lamb. You'll hear me rap him more than once over the course of the next 75-odd minutes. Up we go from Lamb. Looking for Gudgeon. Almost found him. That was very well done defensively from the try scorer Corey Parker. And back to the 20 they come. And the Knights are a little miffed about what's just happened and why it isn't a dropout.
Yeah, that's right. They were claiming that it was a knock on there. And he said he's taken it on the full. It was a knock on by Newcastle maybe there, so that gave him the 20-metre restart there. Good work once again by Corey Parker, but they've lost the ball again. The Melbourne Storm coming out of their own end. Another big error.
Already we have summed up the Melbourne Storm for you verbally. They're giving it to you exactly how it has been for the past month. They have got power, they have got pace, they've got dominance, but gee, they've got a mistake in them. As we look on, the great man, the king of the public bar, the mule David Hosking, and there's the son, young Zach, playing in the back row. Better looking than Dad, thankfully. He is a great man, the former Eagle front rower. Morris out of dummy half. Hosking used as the decoy this time. The ball runner was the skipper, Tyrone Amy. Lamb over calling, stepping a few times, then tosses it back. Not great stuff here from the Knights at all. More so playing what's in front of them as opposed to really setting up as a part of any game plan. That's better from Tanoa-Brown. Left-hand side available here. Short ball was a beauty back to Lamb. All he needed to do was pass, and it was points. Looked to step back on the inside, and the kicker has taken himself out of play for the last. Rubber goes through, well weighted, and Melbourne forced to make a play at it. Big Ben Nakubawai.
But the play before, they had the numbers on that left-hand side, and Brock Lamb, he got heavily involved and got the second phase play that he needed. and he went to the left-hand side. He just took it himself there. Loda Lavar gets the ball out the back. Brock Lamb, he had space on his outside, tried to have a crack himself. Great defence, though, the Melbourne Storm.
Oh,
charge.
There's some collision there. Nakubawai and Amy, two big units. This is now Glanville. Trying to use the quick feet around the ruck. 15 metres out. Goes to McNamara. And out the back he plays. Fullback Nick Meaney coming into the equation there. Denied by 4 metres and a good tackle from the try scorer. Playing out to the left-hand side. And again, they had the numbers. The execution just wasn't there for the Knights. They arrived down in Melbourne yesterday. Lamb. Drag back, he's within a metre. Morris at dummy half. He kicks off the upright. And knock on.
Melbourne first, then Newcastle.
Well, they're saying a Melbourne Storm
first.
Yeah, knock on first, so they'll get the ball back here. The Newcastle Knights, they're building, aren't they? They're building over and over again, and it was Charlie Galo there. You can just see, just knocks the ball forward there to start off.
Stay this side, stay this side.
And coming through a little half opportunity there. The Newcastle Knights, they've got some short passing game, which is really starting to trouble the Melbourne Storm here. And they're racing up on Brock Lamb, trying to put plenty of pressure on him, trying to cut down his time on the outside.
Yep, they want to limit his time. The ball's staying in the scrum there a little longer. Here is Dennis, flicks it out, and too easy for Ken Toffelau. There's the square up. We're level at 4. Dennis and Toffelau, the two late inclusions into this footy side, making it look so easy, and it was.
Yeah, it certainly was on that outside. They'd be disappointed with that, their defensive effort there, the Melbourne Storm. They've just given them too much possession with a couple of errors, and this is why they're trying to cut down that time to that man Brock Lamb, because on the outside, he's got a couple of those big inclusions into the game, and Corey Dennis, he scored a double. And his debut in the NRL against the Raiders easily gets it to the outside. Ken Toffelau in the corner, and the scores are level.
Ken Toffelau, first for the year. Was originally named to play in Trust Super Premiership this week. Was brought back into the 20s last week in their victory, their 26 points to 12 away victory over the Warriors. It was their second win of the year. They're a good football side, Newcastle. They might have a little way to go to challenge the big boys, and I guess in the 20s this year, when we talk about the big boys, we're talking Penrith and North Queensland and Parramatta. This Penrith footy side is something special in the Holden Cup in 2016.
Well, they haven't missed too many years, have they? They've been so good, the nursery of talent that's out there. I watched Brock Lamb kick a couple of weeks ago, and he actually sliced the footy the way he kicked the ball. Let's have a look how he does that. Tough conversion, first one up of the afternoon.
Yep. Little slice back, and that is a great kick from B. Lamb. 6-4 in favour of the visiting Newcastle Knights. Jermaine Tanua Brown fan club, the army is here. Oh, well, that's their third visit to the big screen and live on national TV on Fox Sports. Might be their shout at the bar later. They owe us. They're loving their day. We hope you are, wherever you're watching. Great day of Rugby League, edition 5 of Fox Sports flagship Super Saturday. Melbourne, Newcastle, West Tigers, Cronulla Sharks, and North Queensland, St George Illawarra on your menu today as a penalty goes here to the Newcastle Knights.
Yeah, just too much in there by the big prop Josh Kerr. They're coming out of their own end. They're really starting to run with some aggression there. It was all Melbourne Storm in the opening few sets, but the Knights have got their fair share of possession, and now just really putting the foot down.
Eddie Tuilatalava starting this raid. It goes back to young Jermaine. Joe Morris through the hands to Jake McNamara. And it's Glanville back on the inside. Playing to the right-hand side and out the back. The skipper is there. Front rower playing a little wider than normal. Trying to ID the little fellas out on the fringe of the park. Nice run there from Hosking, backing his way towards the line. Last tackle here for the Knights. Out to Lamb. They've rushed up on him, flicked it out the back. Dennis to Toffelau. They've repeated it. Identical to the last try. And Corey Dennis showing all the confidence in the world after a fortnight in the top grade. And he has got that left-handed flick pass down pat now. And Kenny Toffalau's loving this.
He certainly is, and his family. They might get another look at the big screen here, but they raced up on McNamara and Brock Lamb, and their line was at 6s and 7s out wide. But what about Corey Dennis there? The big left-hand offload there out the back, the flick pass. He's big, he's tall, he's got the ability to do that. They couldn't wrap it up. And he gets it away. Toffelau on the outside. He's having an absolute field day so far.
Got a running style that reminds me very much of the great former Queensland fullback Gary Belcher. It's Corey Dennis. What a couple of weeks it's been for that young man. Double on debut with the big boys, and he came from nowhere. It was a shock selection from Nathan Brown. If we look on at Brock Lamb, beautiful kick last up. Old mate security guard behind him's having a great day, isn't he? There might be some sledging going on. We saw him guide it back with a little bit of slice. His last kick.
He strikes the ball well.
Doesn't he? It's a long way back too. He's 26, 27 metres back. He did it a couple of minutes ago. That is beautiful. Brock Lamb, come on, smile, Brock. You got every reason to. Kicking beautifully. Yeah,
no Jack Cogger in the halves too. They've played a lot of football in the Australian schoolboys together, and that man King Toffelau on the outside's already scored a double. Great inclusion back, plenty of confidence back in the Newcastle Knights, and I was worried to see how they were going to go coming back from New Zealand. It's a huge trip for them. They didn't get home till midnight on the Monday night, then having to travel down here to Melbourne, but they're backing it up. Some real danger signs here now for the Melbourne Storm. They started with plenty of fire in the belly, but they're slipping off tackles now.
There are some real danger signs here for the Storm. It's Glanville. Much like Dad, just does his job, minimal fuss. Very reliable young fella. As Morris goes into dummy half, out to Lamb. To Lava. Geez, they like that left-hand side, and why wouldn't you, the Newcastle Knights? Back to Lamb, he had all the time in the world and pumps it straight up. A test for the fullback here. Going to call this a Newcastle knock-on. Jesse Arthurs, the Melbourne fullback, he could have heard. That was literally a herd of Newcastle Knights coming down on him.
Yeah, the footsteps, weren't they? They were racing towards him under plenty of pressure. He's only a young kid, Jesse Arthurs from Keebra Park there. He's one of them.
Here he is.
Guys, throwing his body in there, but only 4 of the players from this Melbourne Storm side actually played in the NYC as Kerr goes straight through the middle.
He is a monster and has done very well there. So too is Nick Meaney, the fullback. In fact, it may have even been Brock Lamb that brought him down there.
Don't play it on him.
He's outweighed by about 30-odd kilos as they go through the hands of the halfback Brodie Croft to Makubawai. Inside the 20, here come the Storm, looking for their second for the afternoon. Go wide and easy. There is their second, Nathaniel McGavin, and it's been called forward. Rewind. Back we go.
Wow, it was for the ball from Drinkwater too. It was a fantastic Long ball, he needed to do the cutout pass. He had space on the outside. McGavin, he just comes, sorry, it was Arthur's the man. And I think they got that right. And coming out of the hands, it was touch and go there. They've called it, they've come back. But this just shows what the Melbourne Storm can do. Kerr through the middle, getting plenty of good metres forward. They've got plenty of strike on the outside and speed.
Forward or not?
Well, when you have a look at a bit of that replay there, the ball just coming out of the hands, it's touch and go.
I'm certainly not going to have a crack at the ref or the assistant or the touchy. You're going to make the call on the run. Very difficult. It was close either way. It was very close. Good ball. It's a 2-on-1 situation here for the Storm, and defensively they scramble beautifully and crowd the ball runner and his supporters. Toffelau dragged to the ground. It goes through the halves to Hosking, who's ankle tucked, gets up and goes again. Zach Hosking has run further in one try. He's tagged it in some games. And Dad is very proud and watching on.
Gave us a bit of a wave, thank you very much. But that all started with Corey Dennis again down the other end of the field, and the offload to Ken Toffelau, that left side combination.
And again, it's the little flick.
It is. Comes back through, and then Hosking gets the ball. He gets ankle tapped at the death by big Josh Kerr, the big front rower. It doesn't pull him up enough, though. He gets back to his feet and dives over. How quickly it can turn down the other end of the field. It was so close to being a try to McGavin in the corner. The Newcastle Knights, they turn it back around. That all started back with Corey Dennis and Toffelau, that nice little offload, and Hoskins, well, he finishes it off.
Corey Dennis, 3 line break assists, 3 offloads. Ken Toffelau, 4 line breaks. Wow, they've proved quite a difference. The left centre and the left winger have been involved in absolutely everything, and Zach Hosking, who scores his first Holden Cup try, says, "Thank you, boys, appreciate it." Lamb, too easy. And all of a sudden, we are out to 18 points to 4. The Storm led 4-0 after just 2 minutes.
They come up with those couple crucial errors just coming out of their own end. Charlie Galo, there was a first one, and he just knocked that ball on, and then all of a sudden it's been all the Newcastle Knights.
And there is a reason for that. The Knights have had literally all the football. Because of those mistakes, 71% of the football in 22 and a bit minutes has been in the hands of the Knights, and the numbers are reflected on the scoreboard, that dominance. Melbourne have also only completed 3 of 7 sets. Ready up to halfway, the Knights. Playing back on the inside, Lamb. Out to Dennis. Beats one on the inside, came Toffelau, who's claiming it.
Well, I think this might be play on here.
It is.
Wow. The Newcastle Knights are on absolute fire here. You spoke about that possession. It's been all Newcastle here other than the first couple of sets. A nice ball back on the inside to Meaney from Brock Lamb. He gets the ball on the outside to Corey Dennis. And that inside pass, looking for that man, Toffelau. He couldn't find him on the first occasion. There was 6 to go. Does he get the ball down there?
Yeah.
The referee thinks so. I thought Nathaniel McGavin might have got to the ball there first. The referee has said play on. Can't go upstairs. There's no video referee here.
Okay, so it's play on here.
Oh, I think he's knocked that ball on. He's come up confident. He's bluffed them all.
Is the knock on from the Knights or from the Storm here? And again, we're not going to criticise ref or touchy here. It is a very close call. But play on the ruling here. We're going to get to the line.
It's tough to see on that angle. See the frustration in the Melbourne Storm. He actually goes to scoop it up, and McGavin sort of pushes it out of his hands to ground the football there. It's hard to say. The referee said it's a try. It's 4 points. Can it be 6?
Check the scoreboard. It's recorded as a try. And all 4 have been converted by Brock Lamb. Kenny Toffelau with the first half hat-trick. Originally named on that wing was Matt Sopolola, who scored 5 tries in 2 games. Ken's maybe setting records of his own. A lot of footy to come.
Yeah, but certainly Newcastle Knights are going all down that left-hand side there. They're getting plenty of joy. Brock Lamb, and they're racing out on him too, trying to pressure him, and they're finding space there.
A couple of changes for the Newcastle Knights. Jordan Pinnock onto the footy field. Dennis. Oh, he looked at it. He thought about it. Out of dummy half very quickly is Joe Morris. Glanville. Off to Tuilalalava. Back to Brock Lamb, and again he pumps it high. Here comes the chase. Beautifully taken by Arthurs and offloaded. Now it is a foot race. The Knights too good there. And they've knocked it on. Nick Meaney, great tackle on Nathaniel McGavin. And the head drops. Poor Nathaniel did all the hard work.
Yeah, it was great footy all round, wasn't it? Jesse Arthurs with plenty of pressure on him once again. Gets up and takes this ball nicely. Gives it away to McGavin, and then the chase. Meaney, and there was also Brock Lamb coming in cover defence as well. He just bobbles the ball there as he comes down and just comes free, but great defence there from Nick Meaney, the chase.
Look at the tackles in the opposition half.
It has been all Newcastle Knights, and more to come.
Henry Penn, 4 for the Knights, hasn't seen a lot of work on this right-hand side so far. You can understand it. The way the left is operating.
It's a good shot.
Yeah, good shot on Pinnock. Very difficult to bring to the ground as Tommy Starling sees his first action of the afternoon. He's now at dummy half and goes to McNamara, playing it wide to Penn. Just pushing to this right-hand side. You get the feeling they're setting up for another long sweep to the left-hand side. Last play, Toffelau and Dennis are asking them to put it up. They do just that, but a very average kick from the inside for the Newcastle Knights has relieved the pressure on the Storm. An easy take for Arthurs. That was a gift for the fullback.
Yeah, it was a pretty poor kick, but it was good kick pressure from the Melbourne Storm, considering the amount of ball and the amount of possession that they've lack of possession that they have had. They've found some energy there, put some kick pressure on. Now they've called for some reinforcements. Big Lachlan Tim here charging forward, trying to get heavily involved defensively now with the ball in hand. You know, they're out on their feet, and they've had the short turnaround too, coming from a Monday night. I know we've been speaking about the Newcastle Knights being across in New Zealand and the fatigue from that, but that's a really good set from the Melbourne Storm. When they're under pressure there, they get through it. Good, hard charges from their big men, now rolling it into touch.
First set they've completed for a while, and they did it with a certain composure. That man was instrumental in it, Connor Donoghue. They are missing Jake Turpin. They're a very talented young hooker. Most line breaks in the NYC along with Troy Dargan, and most try assists in the NYC. Again, along with Troy Dargan from the Parramatta Eels. He's out with a broken hand, suffered last week. And it's a big loss, young Turpin. But they haven't helped themselves today.
No, that's right. In 4 or 5 weeks he'll be out for too, so they'll have to cover his loss there. But I think, you know, I don't think there's any lack of confidence in their side when they can score 30 and 40 points quite quickly. They've just got to get back in this arm wrestle there. That set will go a long way to getting them back into the game.
Melbourne Storm were favourites, only just going into this game. Kick down to Arthurs. Easy take once again for the talented fullback. Great chase from a compressed or condensed Newcastle line. They know how powerful Melbourne can be in attack with their big men. As a result, they've really shortened their line to try and stop runs like that. It's Gallo again. Big Charlie set up the first try. Goes back to Drinkwater. Plays it wide. Good vision there from Croft, but the defence really had raced up on the number 7, made it difficult for him to really do much there. Croft looks on the inside to Arthur. Last tackle here for Melbourne. Another complete set. Well done to the boys. Drinkwater's left boot goes to the air, and what a take! And hopefully not an injury.
I think I know he's got the penalty here, but I think it was his own man that actually clipped the legs of him, Henry Penn, as he came through there.
Oh, that hurt. Still, yep, it certainly was. You can't touch a defender in the air, and that's exactly what Melbourne have done. They're protesting.
We're not going to discuss every decision. It's done. Mid-air tackle.
Henry Penn down as well. He was a man that actually clipped the legs there.
He was pushed from the Storm into his own player, I think you'll find, and Henry's got the hip and backside of Kanoa Gudgeon.
I've got no problem with McGavin or Parker there coming through there with a contest for the football. I don't think they're trying to push him intentionally into the legs of Kanoa Gudgeon there. It's just one of those accidents that happened. He's come down hard. They've both got back to their feet.
Right, boys.
Henry Penn seems to be the one who's come out of it worse for wear than Kanoa Gudgeon. But penalty goes to the Newcastle Knights. They might have got away with that one. Melbourne Storm, big defensive set coming up.
Good touch finder there from the Knights, relieving them of some pressure territorially anyway. Motoring forward here. Quick play the ball. 20 on the field, Jaden Butterfield, nephew of former Knights prop and skipper Tony. It's the 17 in Pinnock. Tackled on the 40-metre line. Midway through the count, the Newcastle Knights lead the Melbourne Storm by 20. And it is, in fact, 24 unanswered points from the Knights, 4 converted tries. All on this left-hand side. Well, 3 of the 4 anyway. Oh, Arthurs. Now he's under some pressure and showed a really cool head there for a 17-year-old kid.
That was a really smart play there. I thought he could have let the ball go. It was kicked quite hard there, but he had a crack at it. He backed himself as they come up with another error now. He got himself back in, got in field there without forcing the line dropout. But this is on the back of fatigue. 70% possession to the Newcastle Knight. They're coming up with some silly errors here.
Lewis Gerrity there.
He just takes his eyes off the footy at the last second there.
High pass too. One is expected to catch, but the pass certainly didn't do him any favours.
Big opportunity here, Newcastle Knights. You can see the errors there from the Melbourne Storm. 7-3. Just over 7 minutes to go. The Newcastle Knights on the attack again.
They've got all their players out on this right-hand side. And it just needed that one pass. They found it. They've gone out on the first play. It looked easy from the Knights up until that point. And that point is the coach killer. The final pass, Melbourne did really well defensively in the scramble there.
It was Corey Parker again. He's come up with a couple good defensive reads, and this time on the outside just got the ball away. Great work, Kanoa Gudgeon, just down the other end of the field moments ago. Got the wind knocked out of him. And that time got thrown in a touch there, but Melbourne Storm, that was a big play there. They needed that. They're on the ropes at the moment. A big set coming out of their own end.
Let's go 15. Don't go to the top.
Melbourne working it out from their backfield here. This is where their mistakes have come, but there's a relieving penalty. Corey Dennis just on for a little long. Only 3 penalties in 34-odd minutes of 20s football. Downfield they go.
Thanks, Lamb. Thanks, Lamb.
And there's no secret that they need to be the next to score, and if they can get that before half-time, that'll no doubt do them the world of good. Some good, strong defence out there. Brock Lamb has been heavily involved. They often throw plenty of traffic towards the halves. He's handling himself well, isn't he, on that edge?
Good little defender, Very good little defender. Trying to milk the penalty, centre field. Oh, and a flat pass from Connor Donahue. It went to Jaden Hunt. They play it out to this left-hand side. They've had success here before. They may well find it again. They will. Scott Drinkwater crosses in the corner. Melbourne hit back in the shadows of half-time. And didn't they need to?
Well, it was all Drinkwater too, wasn't it? He saw a little bit of space and then he took off. And then he's got the ability to change the football into his other hand there so he can get the fend on Meaney at the back there. They find the space on the outside there. It's their go-to side as well, the Melbourne Storm, that left-hand edge. But just a change of the footy in his hands there to get that fend the opportunity to get away. He's just come up limping from it. I think he's going to be okay there, Drinkwater, but we've heard plenty about him. There's a lot of good raps around this young kid, Scott Drinkwater. Terrigal Sharks Jr. He's had some time in the NRL pre-season as well. You see a bit of a limp there just as he came down from that, but great speed, great skill.
Nice young fella too. We're having a chat with him pre-game. Very level-headed young bloke. Great to see and hear. Jesse Arthurs lines it up. What a difficult afternoon for him it's been. Handled himself very well, the youngster. From the sideline, preferred side for a right footer. Just a couple of minutes before half-time. Starts this one right. It comes back a little. Also didn't have the length. And the scoreline remains Newcastle 24, Melbourne 8. It is 4 tries to 2. And Melbourne, in every possible statistic, have been completely dominated. They've made more errors, more missed tackles. They've had less line breaks, less hit-ups, and made a whole lot more tackles because their errors have given Newcastle just too much footy.
And that goal kicking too is going to hurt them.
Yep.
It could only be a couple of converted tries behind now. Much more than that, thanks to Brock Lamb and his perfect kicking boot there, and all being tough kicks as well.
Interesting set here for the Storm. They've been really successful from the restart, in particular at the start of the game when they get that natural roll on from their big men. Playing through the ruck to Charlie Gallo. Speaking of big men, he'd be every bit of 110 kilos, probably, and some. Because it's an age competition under 20s, we do often refer to them as kids, but they are anything but. Good kick from the Storm. Chase was also pretty effective on Nick Meaney. Good contact made by 2 Melbourne defenders.
It was a really good set of 6, wasn't it, after points there. And this is what they can do. It's just that 80-minute performance that we spoke about in the pre-game, and hearing that from Eric Smith as well. We know they've got plenty of points in them. That's not their concern. It's that consistency throughout the duration of the match and not giving away penalties like this when you've got the opposition on the ropes and all of a sudden letting them off the hook like this.
The last 2 weeks, they've scored 40 points in a game, the Melbourne Storm, but they've been beaten both times. And if you're going to score 40 and get beaten, you know what the answer is. Very simply, more defensive work Monday to Friday.
And being in the Melbourne Storm system too, a club that prides itself on that defensive aggression and consistency week in, week out. It's something that no doubt these young men, it's, as we've spoken about, it's a learning, it's an education process for them. A long way to go.
Newcastle looking for number 5. Starling juggling the football. offloading, then into the line. Starling moves back to dummy half and goes to McNamara. He dummies. A good front-on shot there from Burns and Garrity. Back to the left. Oh, that is far too easy. Jordan Pinnock, the big fella, straight through the middle and didn't have a defender within 2 or 3 metres of him.
Yeah, and I think the ball was from Tommy Starling there out of dummy half there. The interchange hooker coming on. There was a huge amount of space there. That was way too easy. And Jordan Pinnock, he couldn't believe his eyes. He comes through. Thank you very much. I don't get too many of these.
Oh, listen to Alan Tongue, a fellow Ranger, has scored points and he's just loving it.
Great try. He was fantastic last week against the Warriors. He was really, really strong up against a big pack over there. They handled themselves very well. And doing the same here against the Melbourne Storm. We've talked about them. First Holden Cup try, right underneath the post, right on the buzzer on half-time.
He's a big thing too, isn't he?
It's been all Newcastle Knights.
Big Jordan Pinnock. Brock Lamb, appreciate this. He's slotted 3 from the touchline and done it beautifully. Right in front after the siren, and that is half-time. The Newcastle Knights 30 lead the Melbourne Storm 8. What can Melbourne do to claw their way back into this match? As we start up again, it has been the left-hand side for the Newcastle Knights that has done the majority of the damage. It's one of the try scorers in Jordan Pinnock. I think Newcastle coach Todd Lowry would have been relatively pleased with what his side accomplished in the opening half, considering they were scored against first. Showed a bit of character, bit of ticker, and then some execution to not only get back into it, but dominate. Playing out to this left-hand side again. Lamb, Toffelau steps back on the inside in a really strong tackle from Angelo Laiapepe. Lamb grubbers. Oh, a mix-up at the back, a mistake. And young Jesse Arthurs did extremely well following the mistake to cover his own backside.
It was great speed, wasn't it, by Brock Lamb, and found Toffelau on the outside, and a nice little kick then after this off his left foot there to Brock Lamb to force that repeat set. A nice little kick in behind Arthurs, just gets to it in time. Todd Lowry would have been stoked with that first half and the start of this second.
Strong run there. Jaden Butterfield launching himself back into the defensive line as Lamb and Pinnock combine here. Good strong contact up high by Riley Leota. Starling to McNamara. Glanville backing his way into the line. Ball still available there. His support not looking. A little scurry here from the hooker, still going. Trying to wrestle his way to the ground. Now referee Chris Butler. Back we go.
With the foot when you
held up.
With the foot
Yeah,
when
sorry,
you
Tommy Starling just out of dummy half there. He's been good off the bench.
Hasn't he? They go out through McNamara. Now here's Dennis. Up nice and quickly was the defence. They go back to Lamb. Kicks across field. And some open space. Some open space for the Melbourne Storm. Nathaniel McGavin in a foot race against 3 in the Newcastle Knights. It may have taken them some 65 metres, but finally they reeled him in. This is exactly what Melbourne needed to produce in the opening couple of minutes. They need to play long and right here. They have the numbers. They had their spacing right, but halfback Brodie Croft turned back into the defensive line. Now the cutout pass, it goes to Laiapepe. Good scrambling defence here from the Knights. 6 again as the call played at the ruling. And the ball stripped. It's legal and out of the in-goal area. They almost stroll the Knights. The mistake not disappointing from Melbourne because it was a strip which is legal, but the desperation following the turnover of possession, alarming. Oh, there was nothing. Here they go, the Knights again.
Yeah, great work once again by Tommy Starling to strip that ball in the in goal there, which you're allowed to do. And then Henry Bennett, great charge coming out of their own end there. And all of a sudden, the Melbourne Storm, they're on the back foot again and now defending in their own territory.
Little end-to-end stuff to begin the second half. Last tackle now for Newcastle. Up we go. Arthurs is there, doesn't go all the way to the fullback. Taken by the half. In fact, there wasn't, it was Corey Parker back there, the centre helping out, and a penalty here to Melbourne. Our refs are Chris Butler and Chris Trenham, and the first time they've been a combination together. It's worked well, just 5 penalties in 45 odd minutes. Well done, boys. A nice free-flowing game.
We've spoken about the challenge that lies ahead of the Melbourne Storm in this second half so far behind, but it's also a challenge for the Newcastle Knights that they don't take their foot off the accelerator. And we know that this game is based around your attitude and your mentality, and sometimes you can just ease off a little bit and try to get in that cruise control. They can't afford to do this. There is plenty of points in this Melbourne Storm side.
Playing the short side here through Charlie Gallo. Goes through Leota. Nice quick hands here. A beautiful ball to Jaden Hunt. He steps and he scores. Great work from the Melbourne Storm. They look so smooth there. First try scorers of the second half. Jaden Hunt did it easily, but the ball... This next one is a belter. Yeah,
there might have been some question marks on the pass there, but the way he did it and the way he faded to go out the back but play short there. Drinkwater, we've given him a couple of raps in the first half. He scored a beauty himself.
I can't figure out if I'm cross-eyed or this is forward. It looks smooth and a tough call on the run. There's been a lot of very close passes. That's probably the nicest way of putting it. Happy to back the judgment of the men officiating. They're in a far better position than you or I.
Oh, it's flat. It's close, isn't it? There, I think. You know, when you look at it like that, it might have been a touch forward, but it's the way he's fading off the ball as well creates that deception. Either way, it's 4. It's going to be now 6, and the Melbourne Storm, there's some light at the end of the tunnel from them. Great work from the young Terrigal Sharks Junior there. Scott Drinkwater, great line by Hunt, and great speed as well to get around the fullback. He had plenty of work to do when he got through the line there.
It's been a difficult week for fans of rugby league up on the Central Coast, and something to smile about for those of you at Terrigal with the young man doing well here today. We restart a 16-point game and a little bit of a spring in the step of the Storm. Leota. Up over the 30-metre line. Again, the meter's really easy when they get the beasts rolling into the Newcastle half. The dummy from Sam Burns. He's monstered. Comes to this right-hand side. Out the back to Arthurs. Tackle number 4 only. They're just 20 metres out. A try in this set, and it is game on. There's your try, and it is game on.
Wow.
Drinkwater. Exceptional again for his second. There are massive wraps on the 6-7 combination for the Storm.
And didn't they combine well in that set? There wasn't much going on. He's a cool customer, isn't he? Drinkwater just skips across field, and then
there was nothing there.
Back on the inside, a half opportunity. He turns into 4, which will be 6. It was a huge solo effort in that first half. just before half-time to get his first try. This one is just as good, if not better, to get the points in the second half. And all of a sudden, the Melbourne Storm, there's a spring in the step, isn't there? But coming out of their own end, plenty of aggression in that running to give them that opportunity. If they can even up this ledger here, get a bit more possession in their second half, as we've spoken about a number of times, there's plenty of points in their attack.
We don't quite know how it works with the percentages, but you will see a team dominate a first half and somehow it ends up so much closer by full time, and that is exactly what Melbourne need. They are still only 36% possession as opposed to the Knights 64, so they've got a long way to go, but the difference is now just 10.
But it was even doing the tough stuff coming out of their own end there. I know we're giving them the halves of wraps down that other end of the field, but Gallo, his charge out of coming out of their own end. They did the hard stuff first before they played the fancy stuff at the end.
30 points to 8 it was at half-time. All of a sudden it's 30-20, and they're running with some muscle, they're running with some confidence, and they are buckling this Newcastle line. Just over half an hour to go, so a heap of time. Gallo driven backwards. Knights getting numbers into the tackle. In fact, it was a tackle on Geraghty. Gained good metres from the home side. It was Brodie Croft. And Jaden Hunt, who scored the first of the second half. Downfield. And into touch. The perfect set after points. They made 97 metres, put the ball out, and they get the opportunity to reset defensively here and really try to rip in against the Knights.
Yeah, they need to back that great attacking set there. Up with a big defensive set. Sam Burns on debut here. He's come on, he's tried to provide plenty of energy. A nice little kick in there, put the pressure back on the opposition, so a great little start to his NYC career.
Burns and Leopepi both on debut today. Exciting day for those two young fellas and their families. Their junior coaches, well done to both, handling themselves well too. What's Newcastle got for us through Tofalau? Looking to add to his 3 tries. There's every reason to believe there'll be more. Melbourne just up a little faster off their line. A little more commitment in their attitude, and there is the mistake that they pushed for.
And look at them, they're racing in. They know how important that little error was for them. Josh Kerr heavily involved. Henry Penny done a lot of the hard work. He'd taken a strong carry out, but he's just got up and fumbled the footy there. And look at them, they're coming, the back slaps, the high fives, they're coming in. This is a big set for them, the Newcastle Knights.
I wish Henry Penn was, sorry, I wish Henry Penn was still playing when they were sponsored by Henny Penny. Here they come again. Here is Parker. They're trying desperately to slow down this Melbourne Storm side that has scored another somehow. He had 4 or 5 defenders there and he's dropped to the ground. I was just about to say they've got to wheel this back 10 metres because there is no way he's getting to the ground, but that is brute strength and a real concern for the Knights. Charlie Gallo. There's 3 there, there's 4, there's 5, and he's scored. Somewhere the bottom of all that, the footy is on the deck, we think, we hope.
Well, he set up that first try in the first half too. He's outside man in Corey Parker. That's 3 tries in 7 minutes from the Melbourne Storm. A huge amount of strength with all those Newcastle Knights players around him, which you've spoken about, Andy. Great strength, get the ball back down, and how quickly it can turn. We've spoken about this.
Is that great strength, or is that just no good defensively from the Knights, or is it a little combination of both?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. He's run the ball strong, though, hasn't he, all game. Charlie Gallo on the outside. Important conversion. He makes no mistakes. Wow.
Woohoo!
Take a breath. Here we go. End-to-end stump, side to side. Plenty of speed. The halves combining well, aren't they, for the Melbourne Storm, and they look so dangerous.
3 tries in quick time there, 46th, 48th and 53rd minute. Real indication they've had all the ball. Oh, nervous take from McGavin. He did very well at the end. Playing it short to big Josh Kerr on the 30-metre, and a quick play the ball. As a result, the meters very easy against a weary Newcastle line. They've done a lot of tackling in the opening 14 minutes of this half. They just needed to keep the ball travelling left to right there, and it was on again. Newcastle shortening their line. Try and get back into this contest as Arthurs is tackled. Burns moves to dummy half. Last play, and pressure on Brodie Croft here. Goes to Drinkwater. Looks like he's playing touch or Oz tag there. Just steps back around, offloads to Croft. He goes straight up and down. It is still the last. Burns, rubbers ahead. And we are calling knock on. Sorry, we are talking offside.
Yeah, in the offside position there, Sam Burns. It was an ugly back end of the set though, wasn't it? They were so good. Only moments before, after points, Sam Burns drove it into touch and put all the pressure back on the opposition. This time, Drinkwater and also Croft, they just couldn't get it together. They went out to that outside there. The bomb goes up in the air, then Sam Burns in an offside position gets his hands on the football, but they got all the pressure on the opposition. They just can't afford to just let go all of a sudden.
Is that going to be a pivotal point in the game that we do look back on, because momentum has now stopped for the Melbourne Storm? Are on a real roll there. They probably needed to be a little more organised, a little more set and defined in what they were trying to achieve at the end of that. Hosking, one of the try scorers, one of 3 try scorers for Newcastle, is tackled. He's just 25 metres out, so they're in the zone.
He's got it.
Oh, Drinkwater, that is just superb.
So he hurt himself on the way down, though. The way he landed on his shoulder didn't look good at all. He'll be in the T20 final there, the way he took that footy.
There might be a slight change in team.
With the foot 6.
Look at this.
Have a look.
Races out. 1, 2, grabs, just gets it before it hits the ground. Big play.
A huge play, wasn't it? He committed himself to the intercept and could have looked really silly had it not come off. The roll-on continues from Melbourne, playing across field. They go to Croft and out the back to Lai Pepe. He steps back into the meat of the ruck, bounces off one and off a second before he is finally grabbed by 2 of the forwards. Last tackle here for Melbourne. Croft to the air. And knocked forward from the Storm there. He got up there, McGavin, along with Parker. Just couldn't control the football. They weren't sure if they were trying to catch it or bat it back either.
Yeah, still not a bad end of the set though, isn't it? Much better than the one previously before there where it got a little bit ugly. But I like your description about Drinkwater there, the way he plays his football. It looks just like he's playing a game of touch or just playing backyard footy. The way, the calmness and the composure and the confidence, the way he goes about his game.
He looks like he's got some time, doesn't he? Newcastle, very rarely have they been asked to work it from their backfield. Such is their dominance. Only lead by 4 on the scoreboard. Lamb rushed there Poor service from the inside, and a 40-20 for Brock Lamb, who had 5 defenders under his nostrils and has absolutely belted this downfield.
With the foot. With the foot.
Wait. On the line, boys.
Does it still need a little tinkering,
I just said with the
this
foot.
rule? Is there any real advantage here to the Newcastle Knights for an exceptional kick? They've been forced to wait until the Melbourne line is completely set. Playing it out to this left-hand side. Rush stuff there from Lamb. It went through the hands to Ilotalava. McNamara. Ball free. And knocked on. According to the ref, Jordan Pinnock thought he had another try there.
Yeah, McNamara, he was filthy too. This ball, the way it's come out here, the referee's call knock on, so we have to go with that. But a huge kick by Brock Lamb.
Arms up over
Gallo
the
on the inside there. The ball that's come out, was it touched by Drinkwater?
Second rowers.
Pinnock
Nice and tight.
didn't think
Arms
so.
around each other. Arms around him. Arm around him.
Missed opportunity after a wonderful 40-20
Nice and tight.
by Brock Lamb.
Nice and tight. Let's go 6. Get it in. Hooker. Wait till 10. It's out. And yours.
There's some strong defence on Jack Comfort. Been good today, Jack, in limited opportunities, just 3 hit-ups, 3 tackles. Hasn't really been a winger's day for the Melbourne Storm. It's been the big brutes in the middle of the park that have done their thing and done it very well. Quick play the ball from Lachlan Tim. Playing it short there to Arthurs. It was a nice ball from Brodie Croft. It goes back to the number 7. He goes to the air. An awkward kick. Very well taken. Then back on the inside.
Steele, a bit of a sloppy back end of the set there. It's really hurting them.
They haven't nailed it, have they?
And they haven't all row. Some good defence. I think it was Parker out wide there. And the Newcastle Knights have come up. Yeah, it was Parker again. He's had some good defensive reads there. And this time, a good shot. Forces the error here. There's McNamara again.
Over the top.
Just comes up with a big error, and the Newcastle Knights, well, they've been their own worst enemy in their second half. The completion rate, you can see there, 50%.
Yeah.
Nowhere near good enough.
Melbourne with 6 here will be back in the lead for the first time since the 3rd minute. They were first to score and looked $1 million in doing so. Burns out a dummy half, links up with Josh Kerr. That was a hell of a tackle down low. Burns dummies, goes himself and is met by 2. Pinnock and Hosking, good defensively there. Playing to the left. Bouncing out of a tackle initially was Drinkwater. 2 tries so far today. He's taken himself out of play on this final option. Little kick through and very well done at the back. Kanoa Gudgeon, quick with his hand, quick with his mind. And here come the Storm.
Yeah, they've called for reinforcements, haven't they, the Melbourne Storm? They're coming in from every angle, but Kanoa Gudgeon, that was a great little piece of play there. Got himself to the ground quickly to stop that repeat set coming out of his own line.
Oh, some more strength, and it's the little fella, Brodie Croft, and one of the monsters in the Newcastle pack, muscling up defensively. Dennis had Toffelau on his outside. This is the last. They're still inside the 20. Spiral kick here from Lamb. A tester for Arthur, who does well on his knees. Well done, Jesse.
Yeah, it's great rugby league all round, isn't it? Great defensive set there by the Melbourne Storm. Restricted them to only about 10 or 12 metres there. That was a huge defensive set. And a big kick by Brock Lamb. Strike the ball beautifully, but here come the Melbourne Storm.
Nakubawai. Big Ben. Playing across field as Burns. Now, is that off the shoulder, or was that off the arm?
Yeah, I think it was off the arm
of Jermaine Tanoa-Brown.
I know he's coming in to make the tackle. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's not playing at the football. If his hand comes in contact, it's a knock on there. Just races out of the line there, and you can just see.
Off his hand.
Little of that.
Yep.
They were building nicely though down that right-hand side. They had some energy and some momentum, starting to shift the ball through their halves.
Over the top, hookers.
Back it up, boys.
Let's go, second roller.
Still plenty of time left in this game.
Yeah.
Heaps of time, over 17 minutes left.
Lock, nice and tight.
They can still afford to build some pressure here. They don't need to score points off every set. They're down here. They're not that far behind.
It's 4-on-4 on the far side of the field. Gallo just takes it himself. Oh, is awkwardly driven back. Looked like he was going to be forced into doing the splits there for a moment as Tim takes it forward. Ball stolen. A penalty and a repeat set. 15 metres out.
Boys, leave the ball on the ground. You're going to get penalised.
Melbourne are coming again.
Yeah, Tommy Starling just with his hands in around the football there. The referee calls a strip. Here comes big Josh Kerr.
There's a unit, and the ball is free. That is just a poor carry from Josh Kerr, unfortunately. He doesn't deserve that. He's been very good today. 15 tackles, 9 hit-ups, along with Charlie Gallo has really led the way.
Yeah, just loose carry there,
Yep.
wasn't it? Just not enough ball security just as he's coming up there. Just trying to keep that momentum and that energy that his side's got at the moment. A quick play the ball. As you spoke about, Andy, he's been fantastic. Took some really strong carries. Loves getting in behind the back of the ruck there. Gets some valuable metres for his side. Comes up with a crucial hour.
14 up square.
They're still in the game, Melbourne, but they have really had their chances over the last 10 minutes that they've been unable to capitalise on. And whether they go on to win or lose this, they will look back on 3 or 4 occasions with regret that they didn't make the most of their opportunity. Travelling across field and fading a few along the way was Tommy Starling. Trying to milk a penalty there. Lamb just gets it out of there on the 4th. Nicely taken at the back by Comfort. Taken to the ground, 25 metres out from his own line. Arthurs now crosses the 30. So if this set continues the trend of those previous, the Storm will be just about in the go zone by the time they get to the last.
Yeah, they'll be looking for that man Drinkwater to combine with Croft there, see what they can do there. They're combining nicely, building this a good field position now, still a couple up their sleeve.
Travelling across field was Drinkwater, playing the ball back on the inside. Last play here, Croft. Pumps it over the top, but straight to the Knights. And there was a hint of a shepherd there. The Melbourne Storm was certainly complaining.
Knocked out by Melbourne.
Melbourne have knocked it out.
Newcastle feed.
Oh, they are lucky there, the Knights.
He does, but he's played at the ball.
He's played at the football there, so it's gone forward. See Henry Penn just getting out there, and Croft just has a crack at the football. I suppose hitting it down there, it's in a forward motion there, they've called. An opportunity there.
Second roll, make sure you get around.
I think Croft was trying to do a little chip for Drinkwater there. Drinkwater was back on the inside, he got too much on it.
Yeah.
And it went straight down the throat there of Kanoa Gudgeon.
Look at the size of that front row from the Storm.
Let's go 14. Get it in.
Gigantic.
Go. That's better, mate.
Playing right-hand side. There's Penn.
We just haven't seen too much of Corey Dennis, have we, in this second half?
No.
Here we spoke about him so much. I suppose they haven't had as much opportunity with the ball in hand in this second half, but that left-hand side was so dangerous early. You'd love to see him with the ball in hand.
They'll be looking just to get through their set. Ball has gone backwards there. That was a great shot put on Eddie Tuilotalava. Straightening as the skipper, Amy. tackle. Lamb to the air. Oh, good luck at the back, Jesse Arthurs, with this. And again, he falls forward, almost on his knees, but takes it beautifully.
He certainly has. They're a tough, spiralling bomb there. Brock Lamb, he's really tested him out, hasn't he, all afternoon with them high catches. He's only fumbled the one great take at.
Doesn't he get some boot and some air on those torpedoes? Right on halfway now. Kubawai. Doing well, Sam Burns, dummy half. Knights have been broken again. Arthurs couldn't get around his opposing man, Nick Meaney. But here they come, the Melbourne Storm looking to lead with just over 10 minutes remaining. And there's another one of those opportunities. And we'll give their coach, another first-year coach, Eric Smith, a few extra grey hairs.
Yeah, wouldn't you love to put a blood pressure monitor on the coach there in this game? Any NYC coach for that matter, but Coach Eric Smith, he's been on a roller coaster ride this afternoon with his side, and that opportunity too. They were building nicely. McGavin had actually placed himself in a really tough position for Croft to get him the football. He was looking for the kick ahead. He wasn't in a position to catch the football. I think he'll look back at that and position himself a little bit better, or the communication needs to be better between those two.
Again, numbers in the tackle there on Corey Dennis. Storm slowing everything down, making it easy for their defensive line. Just outside the 40, looking for the sideline and find it. A little earlier than his teammates thought, but the kick downfield from Joe Morris, who's only just come back into the action. It was a good one.
And I think both teams will actually enjoy this little break just to settle down here. I think the Melbourne Storm will appreciate it just as much as well. Just slow it down, reset a little bit. It's been frantic.
Second rowers must bind with your other second rower. Lock nice and tight. Wait for the out call, stand square, two hands when you feed it. Get that leg happening.
We know the Storm have got points in them.
Out.
They've scored the second most points in the NYC competition in the opening month. But they're also conceding 36.5 a game. And over 40 their last 2 weeks. So they do have the points, they do have the power. And there's certainly the time. And with the opportunities, the lost opportunities may well cost them. Beautifully held up football there. A nice support play from Arthurs to Drinkwater. Knights thought it was forward as they tried to take the ball carrier towards the touchline. Go back to the half, across field. Storm still with it, and denied by a metre. Just couldn't get the ball through to his supporting players.
Yeah, Laia Pepe there, he got up for the ball there and he caught it. It was a great take. There was men on the inside. He just couldn't get that there, and the desperation in the defence. Croft, the crossfield kick, it was perfectly placed. He gets up above them. Laia Pepe, and then just on the inside, couldn't get it down, and Newcastle Knights 1, 2, 3, their great defence.
Yeah, they've been more committed to their defensive line, the Knights, over the last 10 minutes. The opening 20 minutes of the half certainly won't be on their highlights reel at the end of the year. Powerful stuff from Sam Stone going forward. Taking it back. Lamb straight through. Not a teammate around him to help, but he pumps it over the top, looking for his winger. Ganoa Gudgeon got a hand to it, but it all happened just a little too quick.
Yeah, the bounce just beat him as well, but Brock Lamb What about the speed from him and the skill here? Dummies off the right foot there, races through, sums up the situation. What can he do? I'll kick it across to my winger, Kanoa Gudgeon. He needs a nice bounce. It just bounces away. Can he get the ball in? He just couldn't get his hands to it. Shakes his head. A missed opportunity again for the Knights.
It's about positional awareness. Brock Lamb saw 3 big, tired forwards standing in front of him. He knew exactly where he was going, what he was doing and how he had to do it, and he executed that plan perfectly. The Storm, Nakubawai. Doesn't break, he bends the line a little. This is where Melbourne have looked good, especially in the hands of this man. Drinkwater bounces off a second, heads across field, bounces off a third and a fourth and a fifth. And he beats Lamb 3 times. Lamb comes back to have the final laugh. Playing short side, 2-on-2. Heading back in behind the ruck. Last play, short side, the Storm go! And they're denied, they're held up over the line.
Easy, boys.
Once again, their defence, the Newcastle Knights on their line. They go down the short side on a couple of occasions. Burns goes down there. Can they hold him up? The Newcastle Knights, here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in the screen there, really working hard.
Last tackle, changeover.
It's the changeover there that Melbourne Storm are trying to get another crack at them.
Yeah, they wanted a 7 tackle set.
They couldn't get that. Newcastle Knights, they're trying to slow it down, but how quickly, just down that other end of the field. That try in that corner there, if Kanoa Gudgeon can take it, almost seals the game for them. And then just down the other end of the field, a little opportunity. Great footy.
Under 7 minutes remaining. Hosking. And the ball's come free. 4 points in the game. 5 tries apiece. And they get shot after shot after shot, the Storm. Leota back to Burns. Out to Croft. Steps off his right boot. Leaves a giant hole in this Amy Park turf. The big boys trying to do their thing. Claiming points, but a knock-on has been ruled. Josh Kerr, so close, so far.
Oh, it was so close, wasn't it? Big Josh Kerr, we've spoken about the amount of work that he's done. And he had plenty of work to do once again. The spin out of Hoskins' tackle. He tries to get the ball down. It just comes free at the last minute. But once again, look at the numbers in the screen there from the Newcastle Knights. There's players all around there. They're so desperate on their line. But once again, another missed opportunity by the Melbourne Storm.
They're getting closer.
Second row blind. Head in lock.
Hold.
Let's go 14.
Opportunity here on the far side of the field if the Knights want to play that way. They do. And they've done it well. Now it's a race. Melbourne, Newcastle for the win. Gudgeon taken to the ground. The Knights just need to keep going left. They go straight. There are prop forwards scattered throughout the defensive line, but not necessarily in their position in the middle of the park. And that is an easy take there for Melbourne. Newcastle really not challenging at a time when they should be. Kubuai, brilliant defensively. Morris out to Lamb. Dummies. And again, he offloads back to Lamb. Tries to step past Josh Kerr. Not this time. Lamb taking himself out here. It's the final play. And they really haven't fired a shot here at all. The Newcastle Knights, they had 4 tackles in the 30 metres and didn't really offer a thing. Quick tap here from the Storm. Drinkwater is cut down. Inside now, the final 4 minutes. Arthurs, back slam, a good ball. It ended up being dropped by the talented young fullback, and he got an absolute gobful from Tyrone Amy.
Yeah, he done so much of the hard work. Had a fantastic game. He just got up and the ball just bobbles free. I think Drinkwater, if he gets his time over again there, he might have taken that quick tap. He might have launched the ball down, kick for touch there. As you can see, Arthur's a little bobbled. He knew that he hasn't got time on his side. He took the quick tap. He only made a few metres and took himself out of play. They come up with an error on that next opportunity.
I'm still scratching my head. That last Newcastle set
was tough too. Brock Lamb, he took himself out of the play. They had to play the ball. McNamara's on the bench. Tommy Starling had to take play. Try to get the ball in behind. It's Henry Penn now.
There's Penn, beats a second, bulldozing his way with 2 on his back. A 30-plus metre run. Great stuff. Now Lamb plays it back on the inside. Headgear's been ripped off. Slowing things down here, Amy. Lamb is to the left, McNamara to the right, and that's the way they go. Very average stuff from Newcastle. With under 3 to go, they hold on to a 4-point lead.
Yeah, once again, I think it was Tommy Starling, the man there just on the right. I think McNamara's on the bench at the moment, so he's taken his spot and he just takes the ball. Way too much pressure there.
Was it forward anyway?
Yeah. And the Melbourne Storm, they get another crack. They might only have 2 sets, maybe. Now the Melbourne Storm, points have to come. You can see Drinkwater, Crofts scheming up a plan together. What do?
They might not even get 2 full sets, but they might not need them. Dennis chasing from behind. He did well to get Laia Pepe there. This is now Croft. They trail by 4. Kerr over the line, knocked on. Only a matter of minutes ago. Now into Newcastle territory through Jaden Hunt.
Drinkwater's a man.
Drinkwater is the man, and they go looking for him. That's him with the ball, goes straight through his hands. The Knights pick up, and it's one of the front rowers. Jermaine Tanoa-Brown offloads, and Newcastle confirm their win. Kanoa-Gudgeon. It has taken 78 minutes to make sure they leave here with the 2 competition points, and they have done it the hard way. The Newcastle Knights will win.
And Drinkwater, he needed to take that footy there, and the ball, it just comes out of his hands. And Kanoa-Gudgeon, well, he nearly scored a try in that right-hand corner a few sets before. Great support play. He races away to score on this left-hand side. And once again, the Melbourne Storm, another missed opportunity. Building. They huffed and they puffed. They just couldn't blow it down there.
Big Jermaine.
Scoops it up nicely. Showed a slick pair of hands, didn't he? And Kanoa-Gudgeon races away. What a game of footy. It's been here, there and everywhere.
Hasn't it? Melbourne Storm, the boys next week at home at the Sunshine Coast Stadium to the Bulldogs. And the Newcastle Knights at home to the West Tigers. And there will be no rush with this kick with just under 30 seconds remaining. Kanoa-Gudgeon, well done, pal. He deserves that. Has had very positive contributions in today's game. Brock Lamb's stance has got me a little concerned, I must admit. We're getting used to odd stances in the game. Not sure what he's holding as he buckles down. And he's kicking just perfectly, though. And as we say that, he misses. You heard the siren, you can see the smiles. The Newcastle Knights have won 6 tries to 5. They are too good, 34 points to 26.